Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your hosts, Mike
and Torya.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. YPN people, I don't know about you, but I love helping out a friend. That's why I want to shout out my friend Brian Little and his podcast, Your Favorite Blockhead. This is the only show that manages to weave together peanuts and MMA into one heck of an amazing podcast. You can find Your Favorite Blockhead wherever your favorite podcasts reside and at yourfavoriteblockhead.com. Do me a huge favor and listen to Brian's show. You'll be entertained and you'll help out a friend. Now, as I said, let's get into today's topic.
Baseball season.
What about it?
Getting closer. Baseball season.
What about it?
It's going to be regular season baseball in a couple of weeks.
Yep. Are you excited or something? Because you're bringing it out.
Well, I brought it up today because I wanted to talk about what we did this past weekend.
We had a good weekend.
It
We had
was
2 good weekends this month, actually.
Yeah, it was a long weekend.
Right.
It was a long
lot of
weekend.
things.
We had a lot of stuff running around town doing this, doing that. But we had a really full. We had a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday. I mean, let's start. Why don't we just, instead of talking about specifically about sports, let's just talk about that weekend, okay? Because that was
Remember what we
pretty.
did on
That was
Friday?
pretty good. You don't remember what we did on St. Patrick's Day?
Oh, now I do.
I knew if I told you it was St. Patrick's Day, you'd remember. But anyway, Torya and I went, and I have a new friend / guitar instructor guy, and we went and gave him some support on a gig that he was playing. He was filling in for a guitar player.
The band was so good, I forgot about all of the rage at how rude the people at the venue were.
Yeah, it made me forget about it too. I mean, I completely, until you said that. But it was a really good show.
Mhm.
The band was decent. The drummer in the band was really, really good. And he should be. I guess he plays for the Blue Man Group on a regular basis. And their percussion was crazy good.
Right.
And then that was Friday. Then Saturday,
We slept in a little because we got home kind of late.
we didn't get home. Yeah, Friday night we didn't get home till 1 a.m.
You forgot the best part about
Oh, I forgot.
our trip.
Yeah.
So we went out for dinner before we headed all the way over to this concert, and we were planning on drinking, so we are going to take a Lyft, right? This man over here opens the Lyft app, and it's $97 for the Lyft to the concert. And I was like, well, I haven't drank anything yet. If it's going to be $97, I'm going to damn well go home, and I'm going to get the car, and he can drink all
Right.
he wants, and I'm just going to drive. It is what it is.
Right.
Open the Uber app, and it was only $30.
Uber, which
Yeah.
the reason, just so you guys, if you remember, because we've talked about it before, we usually use Lyft because it's just much cheaper. Or should I say, used to be much cheaper. But it's true. Back when we used to mix between the two, like whoever was earliest available, because where we used to live, there were so many flipping Uber and Lyft drivers that you could just switch between the two.
Right.
So we would pick one or the other, and the prices would be about the same. Lyft would always be a tiny bit cheaper. But what we noticed was our problem drivers were always with Uber
Right.
and never with Lyft.
We had one who smoked a joint right before we got in the car.
Yeah, his car reeked of marijuana.
We had one who wouldn't face forward and just kept looking back at us the entire way.
And it was always Uber. It was never Lyft.
You know how we got back into Ubers? Because we needed the pet safe Uber. And Lyft doesn't offer a pet safe Lyft.
Well, and also if you remember during the pandemic when we were here, when we were looking to move here and we were here, we had to switch between the two depending on what was available. Remember, you would go, okay, I've got the Uber going, and I'd be like, okay, I've got the Lyft going, and then whoever got the answer first canceled. The other one canceled. Right. I mean, and that was because it was crazy, like impossible to get a driver.
But Lyft, get it together, because that's ridiculous. You should not be 3 times the price of the competitive service.
Well, and I understand that it was a drinking holiday. So I knew it was going to be more expensive. But my thought process was, there's no cover charge to get in. No tickets that we had to buy to get in. We just showed up.
The Uber was about 20% more than it usually is.
Yeah. Well, and that's decent. That's come on, 20%.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you love to be able to go to your clients and be like, I'm raising my price 20%?
The Lyft was 500% what it usually
is.
It's
crazy. It was highway robbery.
Yeah. Highway robbery. We had lots to complain about.
But that was Friday night. Let's move on here. Then Saturday we slept a little bit later, did our usual morning routine with the poochies, and kind of loved on them a bit because they were
needy
poochies and they were going to be alone for a while.
We had left them for all Friday.
So then I had decided that I wanted to go to the baseball game, but that I really didn't, because we were going to Major League Baseball weekend. It was Major League Baseball weekend here in Vegas again.
Right.
It's the second and final one. But I wanted to go to the baseball game, and I knew that there was a football game that started at 7 p.m. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to get home until like 11 o'clock. We were just out until, 1 o'clock last night. And we got another baseball game tomorrow when we're going to be at the ballpark all day. And it's cold enough there. I can only imagine what the stadium where it was super windy how it was going to feel. And I was like, you know what? What if I just give somebody these tickets? So we tried all our friends. Nobody, all 2 of them. Actually, we tried 3 people.
We did.
And 2 were working and one's husband was sick.
Yeah.
So
much for that option.
Yeah. So I put a post up on Reddit and I just said, hey, I got these tickets. I can't use them. 50-yard line. I don't even want money for them. Just whoever wants them. First person to DM me gets them. As soon as I sent the transfer, I deleted the post. I didn't even want to deal with editing it and saying, okay, tickets are gone. And then people would be like, hey, this ticket's still there. Dude, I edited the post, right? I just deleted it.
Right.
But I gave away the tickets and the guy had a good time. I actually asked him, did he have a good time? And he was like, thanks so much, man. I really appreciate it. I've been wanting to go check it out, but money's been a little tight. And I was like, well, I'm really glad you got to go.
Awesome.
I was like, I'm really glad you got to go, man. So, shout out to him.
We did the baseball and we skipped the football on Saturday. And the baseball was, the team we were cheering for lost.
Got slaughtered.
Mega slaughtered.
Oh my God. It was like 12-2.
Yeah, something like that.
It was a disaster.
So that was a little disappointing.
Yeah, it was a butt spanking. We had a good time because we have really good seats. And there are seats for the whole season.
The only part that wasn't good was that douche hat behind us that kept screaming.
Yeah, but he didn't seem to be there any the other day. So
no, he was just there on Saturday.
That's the problem. You don't know until you've gone to enough season ticket games to go, oh, that person was here last time and the time before. Oh, that person was here last time and the time before.
Dude with his
you don't really know.
Yeah,
well, I told you just by the way how friendly he was with the ushers that he's a season ticket holder. In fact, I bet you he's a full season ticket holder.
But then we went back on to another baseball game on Sunday. And what does it decide to do around the 3rd inning?
Rain.
Yep.
And the funny thing is, we were talking about it as we were coming in, and she kept saying it's raining over there. It's probably raining at the ballpark. And I said, if it was raining at the ballpark, they would have canceled the game.
It turns out it wasn't quite raining at the ballpark yet.
And I was explaining to her how, they never play baseball in the rain. It's too dangerous. They don't do it.
Baseball made you a liar.
And then what do? They keep playing. Now, granted, it was like a steady mist. But meanwhile, the team we were cheering for was winning 7-0. And it just kept coming down, getting stronger and stronger. It got to the point where Torya and I were like one of like 3 people sitting out in the rain because we were both like, dude, we're already drenched. Going back there, my thought process was this. Going back there is windier, so it's just going to be colder.
Right.
I'm not going to be dry. All I'm going to do is just get wetter here. Eventually, I'm going to have to walk through the cold. So why stand there for hours watching the rest of this baseball game that should have been canceled already?
And as it turns out,
and then all of a sudden,
the tarp.
Right as we said that to each other, we're like, we're just going to sit here. Screw this. We'll freeze up there. They rolled the tarp out. And that was it. They called the game.
The biggest tarp I've ever seen in my life.
Called the game, and our team won 7-0. And
then what did we do to warm up? We went And we did
Oh yeah, we went
infrared
to
sauna session.
we went to our second session of the infrared sauna. That's right. And that place we will name because they deserve it. They're called Perspire Studio.
Mhm.
And they're in Tivoli Village.
Well, they're also a chain.
But this one
Yeah.
is in Tivoli Village. I support my man.
Yeah.
And he's going to be opening one in Henderson. When that opens, we'll shout that out too because he deserves it. And we get nothing for this. We don't get paid for this. In fact, we're paying for the service.
Henderson and then Centennial Hills. So, yay.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, Centennial Hills would be nice because that's not even, it's about the same, but it's about the same distance.
Because if it goes all the way out to that.
Here's the thing. I feel like Centennial Hills and Summerlin, usually the places that are like, you want to go to, they're about the same distance. It's about 25 minutes.
And I'd rather go to Centennial Hills.
And I'd rather go to Centennial Hills because it's easier to get to.
Yeah.
Up our street to the 215 and over. Done. This other crap of having to go through the downtown and then go through the spaghetti bowl and it's just no. Don't do that.
Well, and it'll be the same owner, so hopefully he'll just let us transfer our membership over, despite the fact that the contract says you can't.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he will. I mean, we're one of his first members.
I think the contract
is meant to say
my
membership number is like 13.
We couldn't go to a Perspire Studios in like Arizona and use our membership.
Yeah.
Which is reasonable.
Oh, of course it is. But I just think, and that place is cool. So it's like a sauna.
No, it's not. It's hot.
It's dry. It's 130 degrees. And you sit in there for 40 minutes and you bake. And there's like lights, like red light, orange light. Was there a green light?
There's 13 different colors of light.
Holy moly. Apparently orange energizes you and red puts you to sleep, I found the last time. And it turned out to be true.
Yeah.
I was wide awake.
The orange is supposed to be a mood booster.
It's a good thing. I mean, and we went in there and we were like,
this is going to be horse shit.
It's going to be, and it's going to be expensive. And I remember saying to you, you were like, well, how expensive do you think it is? And I'm like, at least $150 a month. At least.
And the unlimited one was even cheaper than that.
Yeah.
I think the regular price for the unlimited one is around that. But we got
it was $99 for the unlimited normally, and it's $79 if you bought it through the opening weekend. So that's $20. But then there was the one that was like multiple times in a day or something like that. Or maybe it was multiple locations.
There was 4, there was 8, and there was unlimited.
Oh, okay. Then I have it backwards. And then the $79 one must be the 8. And so you must be right. The unlimited, because then the next level was like $129.
Yeah.
So it's close to $150, but not quite.
Yeah.
But
it's cheap and fantastic.
It's really inexpensive. They keep it super clean. I don't know if you noticed, but like as soon as you step out of that room, boom.
Yeah.
They're on it.
Yep.
I mean,
they want to have it ready for.
I just scoop up all of the towels and I throw them in the towel thing, but it does. It kind of like at first when we leave there, I feel like when I've had a massage where I'm kind of like really mellow and I'm kind of a little bit like not sleepy, but kind of groggy.
Right.
You know how like when you've had a good night's sleep and then you got to get up the next day and drive to California. And then by the time you hit like state line, it's still dark, but you're just like awake now, but kind of groggy. You know what I mean? Like you're alert, but you're like, oh man, if only I could go back to bed. This would be so nice.
Yep.
That's how it makes me feel after a massage. Well, this is like the same feeling. Same feeling. But then the first time when I did it, I used the red light the whole time.
Uh-huh.
And I was like,
you were just like, you passed out when
I
you
was
got
ready
home.
to die. And I remember telling you, I'm so tired. I hope I'm not sick.
That was the day we picked up the stray dog, and I'm just hanging out with this dog, and you're napping away. You napped for like 3 hours.
I didn't nap. I passed out.
Yeah.
I mean, I was dead tired, man. And then you told me, oh, I was so energized. I can't even sleep. I was just wide awake. And I was like, what color did you use? And you told me orange. So this time I used the orange. The orange.
I said it was good for mental clarity and mood boosting. And I don't know. I don't know that my mood has been boosted since Sunday. But I've not felt quite as angry this week as I do other weeks. So maybe it was the sauna. Maybe I'm just having a good week. I don't know.
Maybe it's just luck.
If it continues, maybe we'll attribute it to the sauna.
But in any event, I think that the sauna thing
Is A+.
has major benefits.
Yeah.
Because I tried the orange light this time. And at first I did feel like after the massage and I wanted to go sleepy time. That lasted about 10 minutes. Then I was like, oh, waking up.
Yeah.
By the time we got home, I was like, ba-doing, ba-doing, off the walls. I was
That's how I felt.
I was so energetic, and I was like tapping my feet. And I came in here and I played the guitar a little bit, and I got a little bit extra violent with it, which was kind of funny because I don't usually do that, but I did. But the long story short, it changes your mood.
So we had an A+ weekend.
Baking
really
in
the
a
long
damn
story.
sauna changes your mood.
A+ weekend.
Yeah, and it was a long and bleeping weekend. Can you
It's not
imagine
much
if we?
better.
Can you imagine if we had gone to the football game on Saturday night? Can you imagine?
This weekend we have.
And I forgot to mention, on Sunday you ran off to Costco, and I had guitar lesson.
Oh yeah, I went to Costco and Walmart and explored my independence. It was great.
Yeah, and got gas. I was
The
proud
gas
of you,
pump
man.
attacked me.
I was proud of you, man. But like, he was here, we had our nice lesson, music theory, blah, 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 blah. And now here we are. And you know, it was a freaking packed weekend. And if we had added that football game in, I don't think we would have even gone to the baseball game the second day, because we would have been like, you know what, we already saw baseball this
I'd
weekend.
have been so pissed
Bleep
because
it.
they won. The team I wanted to win won the second day. Convincingly so.
Why do we keep saying the team we wanted to win? Why don't we just admit it is the Colorado Rockies? And I don't care, you Dodger fans. Shut up for a second and listen. You hear me? All right. Explain to them why we like the Colorado Rockies. Like why we have an affinity towards them.
Back a while in 2019, before the world went shit crazy, somebody in this podcast took me to the snow for my birthday in December. We went to Colorado. And while we were there, I took him on a tour of Coors Field, where the Colorado Rockies play.
Exactly. And it was very nice, and the people were very friendly. And even like little guys that were securing the gates were like super friendly and nice and helpful.
And that I wanted to get a hat while we were there because their color is purple and black, which is awesome.
And they were closed.
They were closed. So I got a hat and he got a hat.
Yeah, we got hats here at the,
so we cheered
at the
for Colorado.
stadium, and we cheered for Colorado. Some guy gave me shit because I was wearing a Dodger hoodie. I mean, they're my team, man. I was wearing a Dodger hoodie and then the Colorado hat. And I told him, well, today I cheer for your loser team, and then normally I cheer for my winner team. I mean, that's just how it works. But I have an affinity towards them. Just like right now I have an affinity towards the Boston Red Sox because Justin Turner's there.
I am going to cheer for Colorado as my second team. Your Dodgers can win because you'd be salty. If
physically, technically, that's not allowed.
I don't care.
You're not supposed to cheer for two teams in the same division. That's like cheering for the Raiders and the Broncos, or the Broncos and the Chargers.
Are the two hockey games I cheer for not in the same division?
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
I do not believe that they are.
I'm going to look.
I think one is in the eastern part and one's in the western.
Definitely neither is eastern.
Why are we wasting time on
I must.
audio
you can keep
show?
Talking.
Well, but I've been talking.
They're both in the Western Conference.
Okay, what divisions?
Pacific and Central.
Yeah, different divisions. You can't have an NL West and an NL West as your top two teams. Doesn't work.
It's too bad. I'm going to do it anyway.
It creates conflict. You can just have an affinity towards that team and hope that they win. Kind of like I do with the New Jersey Devils. I'm like, it's Mitchell and Maddie's team. I hope they win. I have an affinity towards them. That's it.
Well, you're welcome to be wrong.
But I think I'm going to pick as my number 2 team, the Oakland A's. That's right. And they're in a completely, not just a different division, a completely different league, American League, National League. I can cheer for the A's. I'm going to cheer for the A's. And I hope the A's get Justin Turner.
Are you going to buy their hideous green gear? Because
yes, I'm going to buy
awful.
I'm going to buy the brightest yellow A's shirt I can find.
The yellow is fine. The green is disgusting.
Oh, I don't like the green either.
It's disgusting. But anyway, that's quite enough rambling about baseball.
Well, we saw a lot of baseball this weekend, and it was good baseball. And you know what, guys? I'm going to tell you guys something, you purists, MFers. They used the game clock and the pitch clock, where they controlled how much time they spent warming up, etc., and then how long they had to throw the pitch, how long the batter had to get into the batter's box, etc. They used it. You know, the game was over. Like, we had seen game previous 2 weekends before where they didn't use the clock, and the game was like 2 hours and 45 minutes to 3 hours in, and we were still only in the 7th inning. This the whole entire game took 2.5 hours.
Yep.
It just moved. But even the other game, they did use the clock in the other game. It was just slow I know why it was slow, because every freaking inning that one team kept scoring, the Reds kept scoring and scoring and scoring and score. Every inning they were scoring. They'd have 500 men on base. That makes baseball games last forever. It does. It's like the last 2 minutes of a basketball, or last 60 seconds of a basketball game.
Are you putting your soapbox away now?
You could eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner before that 1 minute goes by. Anyway, I love living here. With that, I also love sleep.
Good night, everyone.
Still a bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.